Yay! Let's see, how many industry people? Game companies?
That's your language.
What about administration? Who am I missing? Any scientists in the audience? Yeah. Researchers? Excellent. What else am I missing? Who did not raise their hand that wants to share? Librarians! They're the heroes of my school. They're like the one supporter I have with games in the classroom. That's not gonna work. Okay. All right, so welcome. My name is Catherine Croft. I am a scientist, actually. I'm a neurobiologist. So I went to Duke for undergrad. I went to UVA for my PhD in neuroscience, and I did research for 8 years on the brain. So biomedical research, mostly at the National Institutes of Health. I studied synapse formation and regulation, mostly mechanisms for seizures, and how synapse development is altered in autism. So very wet lab, molecular, cellular, genetics, physiology, very, not so much the psychology side, it was the molecular side. I loved research, loved it, but I'm a people person, maybe you can kind of tell. Most scientists are not. So I was always the person teaching the new people, going out giving talks, taking brains to high schools for fun. I loved it, and it was so rewarding. And then I thought, after a while, maybe I want to make this my career. Because I reached the point where I could be a professor or not, and like it was like a choosing point in my life. And everyone was like, "You're crazy, don't be a teacher, that's awful." So I didn't. I became a writer, and then I decided, no, I really want to teach. So I tried it for a little bit at a science center, and long story short, I'm now a public high school teacher, a proud public high school teacher. It is the hardest job I've ever had in my life, and it's the most rewarding job I've ever had in my life, and I love it. So a lot of my scientist friends look down on me, like, what are you doing? I love it. On the side, I'm a game designer. I started my own science game company almost 5 years ago. And we've actually won some awards here at Serious Play. For the past couple years, I have my game somewhere. Forgot to put my games up here. But you have one. So I don't like to make this like an advertisement for my games. I want to advocate games in the classroom, especially board games, for science, technology, engineering, and math. So that's who I am. So why are we here? Okay, a little warm up, because right, teachers know you always have a little warm up to get the class going. So we're a gaming conference. We're going to play a little short little game. Have you ever heard of the game called Brain Spin? I use it in my classroom to get creative juices flowing. So here's what I want you to do. Everybody has paper out or computer or something to like jot down ideas. All right, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to look at that picture. Get my timer going. All right, and then when I say stop, okay, when I say go, you're going to write down as many things that you think this looks like. Like, I don't know, hamburger, right? I'm just going to throw that one out there. And when I say stop, I'm going to rotate it, and then you're going to have another 30 seconds, right? So when I say go, just start writing down anything you think this looks like. Ready, go. And try to be as creative as possible, because you want to come up with things no one else can think of. I should have mentioned that. All right, stop. Now, come on in, not you. Come on in. We're going to do this again. I'm going to rotate it. You got 30 more seconds. Remember to try and think of things that nobody else in the room would say, but reasonably look like this thing. Okay, ready? Just hold on. Go. I just rotated it 90 degrees. It does. Sorry. Yeah, we're just like writing down what we think it looks like. But it's almost over.
No, just not do it.
Yeah, we'll just, you'll see how it works.
Did I come in at the end of the session?
No, this is our little warm up.
Oh.
All right, stop. Okay, so we're gonna see how many unique answers you came up with. And you get 1 point for everything you came up with that nobody else in the room came up with. So how about we go around and everyone names like one thing they said. So, hello, what is it?
The first one.
Yeah, anyone. Any idea?
Sarcophagus.
Ooh, sarcophagus.
So if we had that, would we cross it?
Yeah, did anyone else have sarcophagus? No, so you get 1 point for that. All right, we'll go around the room. And yes, sir.
First one was Millennium Falcon view from the clock.
That's excellent. Millennium Falcon. Anyone else? Good. 1 point for you. All right, we'll just go around the room here. What did you say?
Ladybug.
Ladybug. Anyone else? Oh, we have a few other people have Ladybug, so you have to cross that one out. No points for that one. And the rest of you cross it off too. No points for Ladybug.
Is beetle the same thing?
No, let's say beetle. They're different, right? Beetle. Anyone else say beetle? Raise your hand high. Nope. All right, 1 point for you. What is brain? Anyone else say brain? All right, so brain gets no points. Cross it off. And then you just came right. You just arrived here. Okay, yeah. I'll go around to yes, and the lady in the middle. Say that again. Oh, a horse. A horse's hoof.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone? Oh, you did? Okay, then that gets no points. So what would you say? A walnut. That's a good one. Oh, no points for that. Cross that off. Next one.
A car and its reflection.
A car and its oh, yes. A car and its reflection. 1 point for you. Another one.
Bunny teeth.
Bunny teeth. Anyone else say bunny teeth? No? Excellent. 1 point for you. And then I think Ginny, right?
Life vest.
A life vest. That's excellent. Did you put life vest? Ah. All right, so no points for that. And so you, sir, with the A hat, is that? Coffee bean. Oh, no points for coffee bean. And then what about you?
Coquina.
Say that again. Oh, coquina? Oh. Yeah. Anyone else?
I put clam.
Okay, no points for that. Any other ones you want to share that you think no one else said?
Good turn that way to see what I'm talking about.
This one?
Okay, imagine a dinosaur like a T-Rex with his eyes closed.
I see it. I totally see it.
I had like 2 hands praying when you had it vertically.
Yes.
I had a bicycle helmet.
Bicycle helmets.
Yeah. I had Pac-Man with a small mouth.
These are great. Any other ones people want to share?
Makeup case. You know.
Oh, yes, a makeup case, absolutely.
Turn the other way, it looked kind of like 2 arms, like someone's like, kind of
Hamburger.
themselves.
Yes, hamburger. Yeah, 2 arms, hamburger, coffin. Any other ones? Yes.
I said it looked like a head.
It does look like a head.
Turtle's a good one.
Turtle, yeah.
And a rock and a mirror.
Rock, mirror. So if you heard anyone else say your name, or not your name, but your item that you suggested, cross it off. If you didn't hear anyone else say what you thought, you get a point. So add up your points. See how many points you would get. Anyone get 5 points? Ooh. Anyone get 6 points? 7? Oh, woo. Yay, excellent. So this is obviously not exactly a STEM game, right? It's more of like a creativity game. But this is one called Brain Spin. You can buy, it's not mine, I'm not advertising. But it's a little card game and it's called Brain Spin. I'll show you a picture in a minute. It's a great short way like to either use as an icebreaker in your classroom or to get people's creative juices flowing. Because I have noticed like when we have to design experiments for lab that day, if we do this or something like this beforehand, they have much better ideas. And it's a good way to get to know each other and just like a little warm up. So Now that I've woken you up, hopefully. This is my overview that I mentioned before. I'm going to talk very briefly because I want it to be interactive. Why board games? Why games? Types of games, so critical thinking games versus content knowledge, which is what I'm talking about today, is the content knowledge games. Commercial STEM board games that you can use that are everywhere. And most people don't know about them. Like if you go to Target, you can actually find amazing games that you could easily use in the classroom. And then we're gonna have like a mini workshop because I don't have the full like 3 hours. So we're gonna like play test some existing games, share what we found about them, and then brainstorm some ideas for print and plays that we could make for free for teachers. So why board games? So how many of you heard of Exploding Kittens? So it kind of is part of this board game boom. So if you don't know this, board games are going through a massive explosion in popularity. And it's not just, you know, like your old school like Monopoly, Life, Scrabble. Like those are like old fashioned at this point, right? So Exploding Kittens was a Kickstarter. I think it was like the fastest sales. I can't remember. Like it broke all kinds of records on Kickstarter. And it's a silly game. It's funny. It's a party game. My 11-year-old boy loves it. You're passing around cards, trying not to get the bomb that explodes. It's silly and fun, but it's just an example of all these new kinds of board games. And so the global, I know you can't see this, but like the global board games market in 2016 was 3.2 billion. It's projected to triple by 2021. It is that amazing. And so I know like digital games are great and wonderful, but I think that at this conference, what we don't talk about as much is board games. And it is such a huge market that I really want to emphasize that this is a growing area that we could take advantage of. Why games? So the holy grail of this conference, I've been coming here several years, is evidence, right? We know games are more engaging, obviously, but where is the evidence that kids are going to score higher on tests? Like, what can we show? And that's kind of what we've all been trying to get, to convince administrators and people like that to incorporate games into the classroom. So I don't pretend to like have all the answers, but I was fortunate enough to be part of a study a couple of years ago. We published in Simulation and Gaming about a game. This is actually a digital game that my company made. So the Yale Learning Center asked us to make an Ebola game that was a digital game that they could use in their class because they wanted to do this study over the summer, like a summer course going on. And so they had the Yale Global Scholars, which are advanced high schoolers, come to Yale for the summer and they take all kinds of classes. And so they had a case study on Ebola. And the way they taught this immunology course, this one particular lesson, they framed it as in half of the class gets a lecture, and then in the middle, they get a reading, and then on the end, they get like this wrap-up lecture about the reading. And so the other half of the class got our game. So the beginning was the same, the lecture. The middle part was our game, and they could play it as much as they wanted to on their phones, on their computers, wherever they wanted to play it. And then at the end, it was the same wrap-up. So the only difference was the reading versus the game. And so what we found, the most significant finding was that the students who played the game the most often scored higher on the immunology test. They did a pre-test and a post-test just on immunology concepts. And they did score higher. What was surprising to us is that when they did the pre and post test overall, there wasn't actually a difference. And so I'm arguing that like it's because you did it immediately after is what I think is going on. Like if you had measured their post test like a month out, I think you would see a much larger difference. And I was arguing for that retention of learning to be in the study, but they couldn't do that with the protocol because the students are only there for the summer. So if you looked at it just overall, there actually wasn't a difference. But if you looked at the people who played the game, the ones who played it once versus the ones who played it like 3 times, there was a significant correlation in all the R squares and everything like that. So that was promising. And I know that Tracy, the lead author, she's at Lafayette now. She is leading all this huge charge for games in education and doing all this research. So I'm looking forward to following what she does. So, and this, selfishly, is one of my students. So he actually took my board games, and this is his own thing, I didn't do it, and he studied it in elementary school kids, because my games are for elementary school and middle school. And he took our coding game and our genetics game, and he tested the kids before and after playing the game, and they did score higher. So I want to like expand his research. So that's what I'm trying to do now, is get funding to actually study my own games in the classroom and see if they do increase content knowledge, but working on that right now. So the key factors to consider if you're working in the classroom, if any teachers know this, is that time, right? Time is valuable. So we don't have very much of it, and there's tests coming up. So obviously you can't play a game like Risk in one class period. And you can't really devote 2 or 3 days to playing Risk to teach history or whatever you're teaching, because you don't have that much time. Like, you know, I have like 2 days for photosynthesis, for instance. I can't spend like all these class periods on like playing games. So you have to keep that in mind, is the game good for the classroom? Is it short enough that you could wrap it up in a neat little package? Other factors are motivation for the students. So I have played all kinds of games in my classroom. It's a staple of my classroom. And some of my favorites are too complicated. If they can't learn it in like 5-10 minutes, they're gone. Like they're like, I don't want to, this is like, you've lost them. And so it has to be a low barrier to learn. And so that's why if you anchor it to something they're familiar with, like even like Go Fish or something like that, like something where they can like, oh, I can play this. This isn't bad. Then you can bring it in. So like to keep that in mind too, is that you don't want to frustrate them so much that they don't want to play the game, even though like some of the like most amazing games are kind of hard to learn. But this is actually a study done by this group called the Quantic Foundry. They did a board game motivation profile survey, and they looked at all kinds of things like men versus women, different age groups. Why do people play board games? What are they looking for when they choose their game? And so this is ages 13 through 25. The highest one here is actually the need to win. They want to win. So there's a new trend in board games called cooperative games, which is my personal favorite, where they all work together and they either all win or they all lose. But it doesn't appeal to every student, right? Some students just want to win. So keep that in mind. Accessibility is number 2, which is what I talked about. Like it can't be too hard to figure out. Immersion, which is basically like the environment, and that has a lot to do with the art. Like, do they feel like they're part of this world in this board game? That's very attractive. And then like the 4th one is social. Obviously it's like fun to play, and then all kinds of things. And so it's not so much like the strategy or all that, and cooperation's way down here, unfortunately. But yeah, so keep that in mind. Like, and if you look up Quantic Foundry, they have all kinds of like parameters for what people look for. So, oh, and one thing I wanted to mention, so this is 13 through 25. So I make games for elementary school kids primarily. They don't really need to win. They like to win, but they like to have fun, and they like it to be silly. And so, but I wouldn't take my silly game that I made and do it with the high schoolers. They might not, like, oh, this is like too babyish. I don't want to play this. The one exception, which is Organ Attack, which is one of my all-time favorite games, where the art is really, really silly, but it's fun in that you have a bunch of organs and you're killing each other off with actual real diseases. It's really fun, and it has like the art silliness to it, and they just love it. So, Organ Attack. So you can play it in our little playtime.
Is that similar to Viral? Have you played Viral before?
I have, but that's not as silly. That's a Genius Games one, right?
It's sort of same.
It's the same concept, but like this one, like the humor is so cute that it just draws them in. And even though it's silly, like the high schoolers really love it. Budget also is a huge factor for teachers. So obviously, like I have usually 25, 26 kids in my class. I sometimes have to have, if I don't have the different stations, if I want them all playing the same game, I need like 6 copies, right? And so that's hard. So obviously, like what's currently going on is yard sales or thrift stores, or you can take existing ones. Like I've taken Operation for my anatomy class and made it so they had to use their vocabulary to play it. Yes.
Last year I got some games from Bezier Games,
Oh, yeah.
and they sent me Where Words, which was up for Game of the Year this year.
Oh.
For free. And they paid for shipping. So Where Words, and also the One Night Ultimate Werewolf, which is an excellent.
They sent you that
game.
for free?
Just for, I don't know how you know, we're not actually overrun with werewolves here, but but it's a great social deduction game for students, just to interact with each other, I guess. And they sent it to me for free, so I know there's a couple board game companies if you're right.
You have to hit them at the right time.
Right.
Yeah.
But all of this
Board games. Yeah, this is probably the right time.
And I even asked a few others we have a board game club at our school after school if they could provide games. Right? So,
that's a good thing to know.
Most of them will say no, but there's a lot of them that would be more than happy. Sure.
Yes.
Especially if you have the ability to post pictures
Mm-hmm.
of the game in review. We have a friend named Tim that gets he got Raccoon Tycoon, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Free, as well as a couple other games. And all he has to do is review it and take pictures and post them to Facebook. Right?
That's
Just for
great.
the exposure.
Yeah, because I know from the game company side that game companies are dying to get into the school market. So if they have teacher word of mouth saying this game was awesome, that's a huge plus for them.
Especially when you can say we're going to post that to our website, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could be very much a factor in.
Oh, good tip. Thank you. Yeah, and then sometimes there's also free print and play versions that already exist. Not for any of the ones that I'm showing here, but it just depends on the game. Like some companies are cluing in that if they want to make a lot of money, they have to go through the administration and the superintendent. But if they want teachers to actually play and use it in the classroom, they try and make modified versions that you just print out a PDF, have the kids cut out the cards on the board, and
Some of the Kickstarters do that, I noticed too. You can buy between $1 to $5. You can buy a print and play version.
oh, that's good.
Once
Yeah,
the Kickstarter's over, if they make their goal, you can download the PDFs.
that's nice. Did you have a question?
Well, I was going to say one game that I've used is like really cheap and it's kind of adaptation, print and play version of existing ones is Werewolf.
Oh, that has one too. I didn't realize that. That's good to know.
Well, because I use it in history for the Red Scare.
Yeah.
So it's spies instead of werewolves, but it's the same type of game that works really well with them. Plus, it's really easy to explain the rules and
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Where ATRE?
play werewolf.
Eric Zimmerman's metagame, which is pop culture references, and it's a bit like Cards Against Humanity, but with more appropriate perhaps for school, but with pop culture materials. They actually have a print and create your own cards to add into the deck, so you can customize it to play it for history or math, or to make options in the game to suit your curriculum. So it's kind of cool.
That's great. Awesome. So that's budget. So types of games, just real quickly, is that so there's critical thinking games. So there is actually a lot of research on the psychology side to show that the younger kids play board games and games in general, like the better they are at abstract thinking, critical analysis, strategy, obviously. And so we played Brain Spin a minute ago, and there's a deck of, 52 cards or so, and they have all different kinds of shapes. And if we play exactly like we just played, it's like the kids are getting groups, they have 30 seconds for one card, they rotate it, get another 30 seconds, and then compare. So it's kind of like categories in a way if you play that. The Mind is one that just came out last year, I want to say. That's a fun one because it's a deck of 1 to 100, and nobody in the group, you can't communicate at all, but you somehow have to put the numbers in order from 1 to 100 without talking at all. No communication. It's really, it sounds strange, but it like,
I've
It's
done it
fun.
with my students.
it's fun.
They love it,
Yeah.
right? They just, and you don't have to, we used a deck of cards and I just put
Yeah,
the
you wouldn't
diamonds
need
and the
theirs.
lowest and the hearts, and then I bought the game. And then they went nuts for it.
It's so funny because like you think that doesn't sound fun, but like you're getting like this zone with your group. It's like you're this mind meld with your group where you're just trying to like, you really get to like even though you're not communicating, but like you kind of sense how things are going.
The other thing about that game, I'll say too, that makes it better is they give you just enough outs to take away the frustration level. There's
Yes.
also, if you hit a brick wall, you can elect as a group. I don't remember how we did it. I think
You
it's
can put your hand
yeah.
up and then you throw the
Yeah, and then you can start over. Or
Yeah, with the extra lives and stuff they give you. That's key. Otherwise, kids would just give up. So ones I'm focusing on today are content knowledge ones. Have anyone played Top Trumps before? It's more popular in Europe for whatever reason. It's an awesome game, and I brought a chemistry version. There are so many versions. There's countries, there's, the White House, presidents, there's all kinds of, any topic you could possibly imagine. And it's such a simple game. You can try it out in our playtesting part. But basically, like this has all kinds of elements in this version. And there's 5 stats on here. And if it was presidents, it'd be like 5 stats about the presidents or the states or whatever. And so we all have cards. And I would have a stack, everyone has a stack. I take the top one, and I would pick one of my stats that I think is the best. Like the price of neon for 100 grams is really high. So I'm gonna say, okay, neon's price is 140 pounds. This is UK. For 100 grams. And then we would all say like our top cards, like you would have like helium with a price or hydrogen the price, and we'd all go around. If I win on the highest price, I collect all your cards and it goes into my stack. And so the next person could pick one. It's mercury, okay. The melting point's pretty high. So I'm gonna say minus 39 degrees. And if I have the highest melting point, I get all the cards. And so it really is such a simple game, and you could even have the kids like make their own version of whatever you're doing. But it's so cheap and simple, and it's not really like learn this fact about mercury. It's like you just learn by playing the game. So you can try that one if you want. And there's a whole series, like I said. Timeline, ever played Timeline before? That's a great one, and I have the Inventions ones here. So yeah, you have 4 cards, and you're trying to fit them in the timeline, and be the first one to get rid of your cards. So like they're lying on the table, you have 4 lying down. You can't see the date. The date's on the back, so you can't see it. So this one is the discovery of the molecule. Anyone think they know about what century at least?
15.
It's actually higher. 1811. So I would have to fit it into this timeline we're building on the table and try and say, okay, I think it fits in here. And if I'm right, yay, I get rid of a card. If I'm wrong, it goes back and I get another card. And I'm trying to get rid of my 4 cards. That's the whole point. So again, like they have this with anything, like population size, like animal stats. I have this, like I said, this is like, what's it called? Inventions and Discovery, something like that. But it's an amazing game, and you can adapt it for any class you're teaching. Other ones that are more specific mechanics that really are, the game was designed around whatever science concept that you have. And these are ones that I brought here today. So I have Chemistry Flux. Anyone ever play Flux before? Oh, such an awesome game. Oh, you did? It's so fun. It's like the base Flux, which is just Flux, not Chemistry Flux, is a really popular game. And basically the win conditions change. So you set the goal and you say the goal is to do this. And then whoever does that, while that's still the goal, wins. Or I could be the next player and change the goal and then go around. And so it's kind of confusing, but it's called Flux because the rules are constantly changing. The chemistry one is amazing because the goals you're trying to meet are making molecules. So like you're trying to make salt or whatever it is. And so you have the elements in your hands, you have to build the molecules. So it's really fun and you learn completely without even trying to learn. And it's really, really good. Organ Attack, like I said, is one of my all-time favorite games. It's so silly and fun. And you have a set of organs and you're killing each other off with different real diseases. And it's silly. I see it sounds awful, right? But it's so silly. Like it comes like a little medical book and it comes over. And the organs like liver is so cute. And then you have different things like, what are the things? Cystic fibrosis or whatever, I don't know. Whatever it is, they're so cute and funny. And then you can also fight them off. So if I have like a vaccine or immunity or whatever it is, I can fight things off, and there's lots of cute little powers in there. Planet, what is that?
Does each player just get like
You have,
5 cards? Or
yeah, you have different organs. Like I would have 5 organs, you would have 5 organs, and you might have nose, and I have, I don't know, bladder. And so if I have an affliction that affects the nose, I can start attacking your nose, and you can attack my bladder, and then we just go around. And it sounds awful. It really is so funny though. And like you overhear the best comments like, oh, I just gave you like Alzheimer's. It's awful though. I know it's terrible, but they love it and they remember that. And so Planet is one of the hottest new games on the market. And I brought it, and you can try it if you want, but it is beautiful. Yeah, and so I just want to show you, like, this is what board games are now. They're beautiful, beautiful, like, immersive experiences. This one is amazing because it has a little hexagon, or whatever you call this, whatever it is. Magnet, and it has, you build biomes, right? And so there's, like, desert, tundra, mountains, the sea, and you're building it. And then as you build your little custom Earth, you get to collect creatures that would live on your Earth. And you have a secret wing condition also, like maybe if I draw this, I want to build the most like Arctic places. But nobody knows that. Like I'm trying to like bluff my way. And so there's all these beautiful animals and you get to learn like where they live and what they are. And so it really is just an amazingly fun, simple game. And it's just gorgeous. And they love these little hexagons. And so another one, this is an engineering type game. I don't play this game. It's the kids go crazy. So there's Dexterity Games. This one is by Melissa and Doug. And Melissa's actually one of my like secret mentors. I wrote to her out of the blue saying I was starting a game company. And she was like, oh, give me a call. And I was like, what? And so I did, and she gives me all kinds of great advice. But she said this is the only game they've ever made that they took from outside the company, and it was so popular right off the bat. And now, what am I doing here? I'm gonna fall over. Hold on. I know, I'm not saying it right. There we go. I need a little base. See, my engineering skills are already lacking. So you would each get a set of coat hangers. So they have different colors, right? So you get the complete set of colors. So here's my colors. And then I'm going to roll this dice. And I'm going to find out, okay, black. I'm going to try and hang the black so it doesn't fall off. It's going to be hard. I think I did something wrong. But anyway, you have to hang it. What am I doing wrong? You'll see. You're better than I am. It's not going to go. I don't know. But anyway, I set it up wrong. But you're trying to hang these, and it's this beautiful, like, hanging tree at the end. And so it's kind of like Jenga. It's like got the appeal of Jenga because things will fall. And so you're trying to get rid of all of these with nothing falling. If something falls, then you have to collect it back into your stash. So those are ones I brought, but oops. There's a bazillion other beautiful ones that you can use. And they're so, like I said, they're at Target. Walmart's now jumping on this train. But Wingspan, it just won like the biggest board game of the year award. It's a beautiful game about birds. You're building habitats for birds and collecting them. And even if you don't like birds, it's supposed to be like one of the most amazing, fun games ever made. The designer is actually one of my personal friends, but I don't have a copy of the game because it's sold out everywhere. And it's coming back in stock in August.
One thing if you don't mind, I want to say is
Yeah.
board games are getting much more sophisticated in terms of the aesthetics too,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it, when you bring that to the classroom in particular,
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful thing to see the kids, they're just drawn into it right away. For example, photosynthesis up there, I don't know if you ever played that.
Yeah, little
That
trees.
is one of the most beautiful games, and the idea is just so simple. You got sunlight, and the trees grow, and they don't grow in the shade.
And they have little mini beautiful trees, right? You get to put your trees there, and the sun moves.
It's just a beautiful game.
It is. It's by the same company that made Planet. They make gorgeous things. Pandemic is probably my all-time favorite game. It's a cooperative game, and you're a biomedical research team, and there's a map. So it's also great for learning geography. And you're trying to cure 4 diseases before they take over the world. So I use that in my anatomy class a lot, because we talk about viruses and outbreaks and epidemics and things like that. This is the same designer. Forbidden Sky came out last year. It's a circuit building game, so it's cooperative. You're on a platform in the sky, and you have to actually make a circuit. And if you do it successfully, it's a really hard game. I've won like one time. If you all do it successfully, the little rocket takes off, and it's so cute, and it's amazing. Evolution, I actually brought that with me if you want to try that one. It's also a beautiful game, and you're a creature. You can adapt with different traits, and then things happen. You're trying to out-survive everybody else. My only comment on evolution is that you are designing your creature, which is not how nature works, right? But we'll let it go if we're teaching. Evolution is fine. Cytosis is great only for like AP type classes because it's really hard to learn and it takes a long time to play. But AP bio classes, basically you're in the cell and you're making proteins. And it's fun, but it's very hard. So I wouldn't play this in my regular classes. Potato Pirates is the cutest little game. It's a coding game. And you're coding, the potatoes are attacking each other. And they're like a little fuzzy ball. You're trying to throw them at each other. But yeah, you're setting up attacks on each other's potato chips. It's really, really cute. So what I thought we would do is take like 30 minutes and just play or just look at any of these games that you want to. And hopefully play like at least one of them. Even if you're not into like the big, beautiful ones, like these little ones are short. They don't take much time. And then we could kind of share what we learned about what types of games and then brainstorm like print and play versions of whatever topic that we want. That hopefully my company could make a free print and play version and then send out to all of you and send out to everybody. And obviously credit the conference. And if you want your name on there, I'll gladly put it on there. So, yes. Yeah. No.
But like for people who are interested in creating card games, where would you go for manufacturing that? Because in the past, I think 10 years ago, everybody was going to China
Yes.
for manufacturing their cards.
Yes.
And I tried to stay in the U.S. and my price was way higher than
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that.
I wanted to ask about that.
I have that same issue. So my business model is to pitch to bigger companies because I'm a teacher. I don't have time to, I don't want investors. I don't want to do these things myself. But I do know, like, have you heard of Delano Services? Delano. They're an American company. They actually make Flux. The Flux company uses them. They are more expensive than China, but they're on the lower side if you are going American. Now that we have this Chinese tariff situation, actually it's a big panic for the board game company industry.
The game crafter also.
Yeah, so if you don't want,
It's expensive, but
yeah,
if you're doing a single copy, it's expensive. But
yeah, so if you want thousands of copies, I would go with Delano, Delano. If you want a few copies, like just prototypes, like I use Game Crafter. It's a website. It's called thegamecrafter.com, and you can basically upload any art, get any boards, mats, cards, whatever, pawns, whatever you want. And I was gonna say with China, actually, so there's a major panic. I went to this toy convention in June. So Kickstarter funds a lot of these board games, or that's how they make their money, right? So, but now that the Chinese laws are coming into effect, so the way it was before, the tariffs would be done on the manufacturing, so they were low. But with the new regulations, they're gonna take the 25% off of the cost to the consumer, the retail price, which is gonna kill all these board games on Kickstarter. So I think everyone's panicking like, okay, we all have to go American clearly, but how? And that's the one company I know and that's American that's really good. I would try there first. And let me see. I was gonna show you.
I know they do board games as well.
I believe so. I haven't gotten a quote for board games from them, but I have from card, and yeah, they're quite reasonable. What was I gonna do you? Oh, also, I showed you like a few. I put together a list. This is actually for my high school to get teachers to use games in the classroom. So I designed it like all kinds of games that are appropriate for the classroom. So I have general games, biology games, chemistry, earth sciences, coding, engineering, physics. I have some math. Not as many math, because quite honestly, there's a ton of math games. Like math just lends itself to games. I put some of the ones I like the best on there. History games I use in the classroom, literature ones that are good. I just lost it. But if you want a copy of this, I couldn't print it in time for today. If you want a copy, I'll put my email up there and I'll give you my card, and I'm more than happy to send it to you. There's special ed games, language games, art games, music games. There's all kinds of commercial board games you can use. Yeah, so I'll leave this up here for now and then put this back here. Okay, so I'd like you to come try out some of these games. And we're gonna share what we learned about them, what we liked, what we didn't like, which ones we thought were good, and then we can brainstorm free print and plays that might be appropriate for the classroom. So, someday. 8, and we have more coming out. But like I tried various different ways, and I've tried doing the whole manufacturing myself, and it's just too time consuming. And if you don't want investors, like I don't want it, because they don't let you control your vision. So I tried that too, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Like I want my way.
So what do you feel about protecting the rights?
I've done copyrights, and I've actually. So I was in a game institute, that was a digital game institute, and they advised me to get patents, so I started that track. But then I talked to other board game designers, and like the pandemic designer, Matt Leacock, he was like, don't do that. You don't need a patent. It's like nobody has patents. Like they just have copyright. So I wasted a lot of money. But yeah, he just said, do copyright, maybe trademark if you have something like a name or a logo or something that you don't want stolen. But yeah, don't do the patents, apparently. Wish I'd known that.
It looks like it's supposed to be slanted. It looks great.
Yeah, I feel like, that's what I did wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here, if we orient it like it is in the picture, just to make it easier. Okay. Yeah. And then you've got this thing goes here, and this one.
Oh, that's right. There's a special one on top. There you go.
Yes, and it looks like it goes.
Yes.
Counter gravity.
So we can hand things over there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you set it up, and then we each player making sure the player has the same number of each color piece. So I've got black, green, yellow, blue, orange, red.
We want to have a set.
Yeah, it says distribute the pieces among the players, making sure each player has the same number of each color piece. So I have one of each color. And then these are for the draw. So take turns taking pieces, starting with the longest piece and the shortest center. And the first player to run out the winner. That's the beginning. Play that.
There's a cat card to be started basically.
So it doesn't matter whose hand it's in, or pancreas system.
Starting with the player with the four hand block. Each player will take a turn on the clock. After your turn, you are allowed to make one move. Separate plays, which you can play every turn. The act of the game is to remove your opponent's organs using corresponding afflictions and other unique cards. When two afflictions are played, you can count for 5 organs, hit on scope. Some exceptions include reverses cards, which can be
Let me see.
after playing, you play a redraw.
You make the most beautiful things with this game.
I'm not good at that. I have operation because I love it. And I'm terrible.
I know, me
but I
too.
love it.
I use it in my anatomy class.
It's just fun to watch other people.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Very
uh-oh.
smart.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You can brace it up, huh? Structurally sound. Triangle is the strongest shape.
That's right. See, we're already learning.
Alright, okay.
So what kind of games do you make?
Let's see if I mess up the
Oh.
whole thing.
I'll talk to you later. I forgot. That one's a good one. It's the same basic thing where you're like changing the goals. So the goals are like how you win. So if you like, I want this to be the new win condition. And then if you're collecting different organs. So if you happen to have these 3, then you win. But in the meantime, the next person is like, hey, you know what? I have none of these cards. I'm going to change the win condition to a new goal.
Oh, okay.
And like this one, this is the new goal. And like maybe I have brain, and then I can try and go for the other ones.
There's no center anymore. Okay, I see your game here.
This is so cute.
They're adorable. And they actually have a game called Lunacy.
Okay, so
They just came out with one. You can customize it for whatever topic you want for $9.99. Like you go in there, it's kind of like this. But like say you want it to be your own anatomy game or your own history game or your own, like they have one like for wedding favors, like things about weddings or things about cupcakes or whatever it is.
I just love games. Okay, they're tilting off.
Oh, nice. That's impressive.
Wow.
alright.
I gotta take a picture of that. That's amazing.
I know. Shifting the balance of everything.
Oh! like $10, $15. And literally, this one's everywhere.
To Melissa? Like,
Yes.
You know Melissa?
Yes.
And Doug.
It's like a dream come true.
I cannot believe. I mean, I know
She
people
gave me a
have to know
hug.
her, but
She gave
I'm
me a
just like-
hug.
I didn't know they really existed.
I know,
honestly.
like, they're
I just
not
thought Melissa
people.
and Doug were like the name of a company. They weren't really people.
They're people.
So when you said like, yeah, Melissa,
I was like,
We finished.
I
we
know.
win.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Was that the cooperative version of the
Well,
game?
that- I don't know. We played kind of the
Beginner
beginner one. 'Cause it's like
Ah.
start with the longest and work your way.
I see.
but- We didn't use the die yet.
So could you like roll again and then add on?
Yeah. Yeah, intermediate's when you start rolling the die.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So do you
Continue
want to?
as-
Yeah. you wanna keep going? All right. Let's see how let's see.
Oh, God. Oh.
All right. Orange.
Oh, my
Be
God.
the one that's all off balance. All right. Wait. Is that?
It's orange? Yeah,
I think this is orange.
Uh-oh, they're gonna fight over which orange is
I
orange.
think
Oh, this
that's
is the
red.
red, okay.
Yeah. and that- yeah. So this is orange. Okay.
the biggest
The
one.
biggest one. Perfect. That's
Oh,
great.
my goodness.
Okay, where's our pressure points here? We got a lot going on there. We need to look at it from a different perspective. Like you. This yellow one here is.
Yeah, this game is literally like everywhere. And no one ever like noticed. You wouldn't really notice it. Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I
Yeah.
like, listen, Doug, because I have a 5-year-old, so.
I know, like until she mentioned it.
Buy the Jenga games or something.
I'm trying to remember where it is. I think it's in the little kid section for whatever reason, even though it's not really a little kid game.
Down here.
Yeah, until she mentioned it to me, I'd never like paid any attention.
Trying it.
Yeah. Be careful.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Wow,
Oh, my turn.
got some mad skills there.
Red
Oh, red. This is red.
or orange.
Let me think.
This is fun.
Did you-
I could play this.
I know. My kids love it. Like they actually like if they take a test, they'd be like, "Can we play that game again?"
I would have game days in my
Uh-huh.
math group, and I mean they weren't math games. They were
Yeah.
sorts. I mean some of them were, but like we did a lot of tangrams.
Oh yeah.
Which is, I mean, talk about something that's like printable off.
Mhm.
You know, and you know you can hit any kind of interest.
Oh
because,
yeah.
You know, depending on the shape and what they're seeing
Oh,
in it.
nice move.
Oh, look at you. All right.
That was clever. Did you have any questions on this game?
No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's
It
like,
would seem like it would take a while to really explain it to you.
yes. So like if I would use this in the classroom, I would kind of like sit there and just explain the rules to them instead of being like figure out the rules. Just because otherwise it's gonna take it like half the class for them to figure out how to play. But once they learn, like once you get going, it's actually quite easy to play. It's just that it does have a slight barrier at the beginning.
Getting it set up and explained.
Yeah, because like it's confusing. It's not like a regular like Monopoly. It's like what is going on here?
There's not anything you can be like, oh, it's just like you would.
Yeah, exactly. You can't frame it to anything else. But it is so fun. It's so innovative. Yeah, it came out Earth Day of this year, and it's like one of the hottest games.
I was expecting to laugh, I gotta be honest.
How's it going? Anyone dead? Not yet.
Still working.
Where to find the rule?
Oh no, the rules aren't in there? I blame my students. I'm sorry.
Okay, I see.
My students.
So having done scientific research into autism
Yes.
and then going into the board game
Yeah.
things, have you decided or just began designing a game that would
Not specifically for them, but what I have found, because I was a long-term sub for a while before I became a full-time teacher, and I would teach autism skills in like like they had a textbook that was about like life skills, right? Like interviewing, you know, all these steps, and then I would play games with them, like as a way to like get them to like social interactions, social cues. They were amazing.
Right.
Any game, like it was mind blowing to me. Like I actually played Pandemic with one of them once, and he made a joke during it, and I've never seen anything like that, and so I know that like games can be amazing for them. So yeah, I've just been.
I'm sorry, I just want to say.
Yeah, but like I haven't made one specifically for them yet. I've just used them with that population, but.
Yeah. Because that's one of the main reasons why they're here. I mean, not for a specific board game for autistic kids, but to find ones that we think we can.
You use with them? Do you teach a lot of special ed?
We're two different schools.
My school's all.
Oh, sorry.
Special needs.
I'm all autistic.
Oh,
And significant
amazing.
disabilities, intellectual disabilities.
Let me. Do you have a card? Maybe I could. I can tell you ones that I've used with them.
I don't have a card for my school.
I can give you my card too. I have one up there. But yeah, and like I've seen it, like and I'm sure you've seen it too. There's a lot of the ones. Let me get my little thing. There's ones about social emotional cues and development that I've recommended to like special teachers in my school who have played them. And said they were, I didn't see it or witness it, but they said it was amazing. So I can give you, I'll send you that list, and like, there's definitely games that feed into that.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Boy, am I
By the way,
stuffed.
do you have Smashup listed on the math games?
Oh.
Yeah.
Smashup's really good. It's, uses only basic addition, subtraction.
Oh my God.
The way it works is you get different groupings of things. So it's like pirates, steampunk, ninjas, wizards, all sorts of stuff. And you make decks out of 2 of them, combining them. And each cards have numbers on them. And you place them at different bases, try and break the base by reaching the number the base equals or higher.
Oh, that'd be
Everybody
great.
puts their stuff on there. And there's so many expansions, so many things with it. Like, they've added in like time travelers.
Yeah, I think I've seen a Marvel one. Is there a Marvel
No,
Smash
but
Up?
they have a superhero one.
Maybe that's what I saw.
Because they have ones that are like closed, but they're like parody knockoffs. They have like one Star Trek, one is Transformers, Game of Thrones, Star Wars.
Oh, that'd be
Power
great.
Rangers, Sailor Moon, Pokemon. They're all in there. There's everything. So it's also a really good way to find like because you don't want to do something. It's like, well, you like this, and this is in here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially like with kids, like way to motivate kids is to anchor it to something that they love.
Like I don't think any number goes above 25 as far as the bases. And the
Oh, that's
numbers.
great.
The actual like playing cards don't go higher than I think 7.
Okay. I'm gonna add that on there.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's a lot of fun, and there's like thousands of expansions, so you can kind of like pick
Yeah.
and choose what's good.
Customize it.
It's super colorful, and the words are big. I think no card has more than a single sentence on it as far as what it does.
See, I need
Have you
that.
looked into any of the games that you can just like do with cards, like a regular deck of cards?
Yeah.
Because I did that a lot in
Yeah.
my math class. Because you didn't have to buy. I mean, you could go to the
Yeah.
dollar store and get 6 decks.
Yeah.
You get the big decks for students that need a little more dexterity. You know, like a little easier handling and
Yeah.
do so many things. You know, you can just like if you make a king. If you count up worth whatever that is, or using some of those bases, and then that card's down, and now you look in your hand and you can do addition, you can do multiplication, you can do integers with, because I was doing middle school, so I was, the red cards, the red were negatives and the black were positives, and, so they could try to make combinations
Yeah.
to, you could even do it in kind of an Uno way where it's like you have to build the numbers up, or it has to be,
Yeah.
there's just so much that you can do.
Yeah, math it
game-wise
lends
and
itself
math
so
with-
easily.
with just a regular deck of cards.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the engagement like you were talking about with, meeting the students and showing them Pokemon or something, but it's something that they can, I had students that were like, yeah, I went home and played with my mom, or I went, because it was something they could do
Yeah.
Right.
at home
Wherever
because
they
had a deck
were.
of cards at
Yeah.
home. And I had parent nights where I taught, parents how to use their, like if they had dice in the game or
Yeah,
cards in the game,
lots
how
of
to use
dice
that
game.
for-
I just have like piles of dice in my classroom.
Yeah, oh, I love it. I had these big ones that were like big rubber ones that they could,
Yeah.
like the kids would, I would let them throw from the back of the class at the front of the wall to roll
Yeah.
and stuff. It's fun.
Throwing everything in my class.
Well, yeah, no, not that idea.
Maybe
Their
something
classroom is
foamy.
probably a little more-
Yeah,
little more
we
stable.
throw dice. We throw dice in my class a lot.
Mine, not so much.
I think you should try and see what happens.
If I can get like
If you get the
very,
rubber,
very
There's
if
big
you get the
foamy
I mean,
dice.
They make them. They're about the size of a
They'll be fine.
big softball.
I need to throw something.
Foam.
So
Oh, I
might
know.
as well be
Might
a
as well
foam
be a dice than a
rather
desk.
than a chair.
Yeah.
That's what for,
And give them a target, right?
Right,
Make this like part of the
exactly.
Yeah,
class.
Gotta
yeah.
take
You know,
it and
like
use it.
I would do.
This is your
something
class
that's
chore for
paper
the. This is your
baskets.
class
Yeah.
When I was trying to get them to clean
They
up
have
their
foam
mess.
polyhedral dice. I have them. So like all the D&D type dice.
we do like,
Those are
we
fun.
use it for other stuff too. Like we'll use
Yeah.
it's like you have this much gold, you gotta buy stuff.
Let me get you mine too.
Yeah.
Miss Feaster.
There's lots of great.
How's it going?
Now, I'm going to get rid of sulfur.
I mean, resources are zero money. Like,
We know the pain.
you know that, yeah. All right. So like, what can I do with what I can buy from others? I can't even afford to figure out. Ready? No, there's so much there. Great.
Hey.
It's like dollar movies that became $3 movies.
So I'm gonna give you my business card. I know there's ones about emotional regulation that are supposed to be really good,
That
but I can't speak to
emotional
it.
Regulation, that would be. huge
Yeah,
for
exactly.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I haven't played them myself, but I've heard things. So I can tell you about them and you can let me know if they work.
Yeah.
Let's
Sure.
see.
So I found D&D good for social emotional stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like I make my own character sheets and everything for the kids just because it's they can't fill out the crazy ones.
Yeah, it gets a little much.
But it
Yeah.
works really well, especially getting everybody to play together and kind of throwing
Yeah.
games at them and-
The English teacher, one of them in our school, uses D&D for creative writing.
And it's
I love
also
that.
really good for kids with IEPs because you can look at what their social emotional goals are and trigger events in the game that will force them to
Oh.
Have to work through that.
Have to work through that goal. It's like,
Wow.
they don't do teamwork well, so I'm going to force them into a teamwork situation where they can't do this solo, and watch what they do.
That's nice. This might be a little weird, but there's a game called Don't Lose Your Cool. Have you seen this? It's like on clearance everywhere at Target, which is why I know about it. So they put this thing on their head, like it measures your pulse, and it has this bar, and you have to like keep your pulse down, or else you lose the game. So like I've been adapting that for my anatomy class, because like they just have you to do things like make somebody laugh or whatever, and you have to try not. But I've been using it for other things. So it's, keeps their emotions down. I know. Yeah, exactly. It's like training them to calm themselves down, I guess. Sweet. Let's see. Okay, so it's almost time to get in.
Because I was thinking, I'm like, why don't we take your piece off? And then that doesn't work. So how does that? Okay.
Sometimes it's whoever has the largest network. This one, it's who has the most resources. So you're looking at this one.
You have any questions?
That missing one card, man.
Yeah, so what happens is, like, you start the game, but you draw when you play one. Those are the basic rules.
Okay.
And, like, you would have a bunch of cards. And, yeah, so the goal, you don't have to use this. This makes it way more complicated.
Okay.
But if we take a pink one, this is the goal. Let's say that you played this. This is how you win. You've declared it. So if you have both the brain and the stomach, you win.
Yeah.
So let's say you have brain, but you're trying to collect stomach. If I'm the next person, I can be like, yeah, so you can put all the keepers in front of you and just start collecting organs. If I'm the next person, I'm like, I don't have brain or stomach. I don't like that. I could take one of my goals, like a completely different goal, and make a new goal. Like a new pink one.
Goal.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to change the win condition. So now whoever has these three wins the game.
Okay.
And you can also like change the rules. So like yellow ones are like draw 2 instead of draw 1. And like those can change too. So it's like it's just a constantly changing game.
Okay.
So it's a little hard to like learn, but if you're there like explaining it to people, it goes a little faster. And like there's all these extra complicated rules that you don't really need. Like basically you're collecting keepers and trying to meet the goal.
Okay, so everyone have 3 cards at the beginning.
Mhm.
Like this.
Mhm.
Example, 3 cards. And I could play a card, then draw a card. Like this? Or draw then play.
Yeah, so you draw one and then you play one. You either put a new goal down or put a keeper down or make a new rule.
So it's another player's turn, probably.
Yes, maybe that's my thing. I drew one and I played that one.
I probably do one and the new rule.
Right.
We can.
So if there's 4 of you playing, each
draw,
take 4,
draw 2 cards.
and then that extra one comes over here to number 11 and starts filling.
Okay, that's where I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a little fast. All right, I'm gonna give you like 3 minutes to wrap up what you're doing, so we have like 10 minutes to discuss. We got a little short on time here.
How was that? It's a really cool concept.
You're building an earth. Will sustain certain types of life.
barcode on it.
I think that one's like $40, I want to say.
40.
I think so.
They don't have the price listed on the website.
Thing here.
Well, that and the fact that you've got magnets that
Every
have to be
player
strong
has their
enough.
own planet.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I would.
And then each round you get one of these
How long do
tiles. And then after a certain number of rounds, you start trying to
I
Yeah.
would be
acquire
really. I
animals
wonder
based
how
on
quickly this
what
would
your
start
earth looks
to.
like.
I wonder. This game
I'm not
only
trying
came
to pull
out.
them off, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, you know, like because I could see kids
Kids will
playing
pick
with
at
them
it.
and pick
Yeah.
out it,
Exactly.
how
Or
quickly
at
will
least
it,
tearing the
the
color
corner,
part out.
yeah.
That would just drive me crazy.
and then that would drive me crazy. Yeah, like, I would be like, I'm like, I want you to play, but don't break it.
You
Or
should leave
maybe.
through the laminator.
Yeah.
Like, will the magnetic still work?
You could make your own little pieces. I don't know. Put little magnet strips on the back or something. I don't know what you'd be making.
I just wonder if you could buy, like,
Maybe
or are they going to sell
like
replacements?
reorder.
Yeah, I mean, like if you wanted like a whole new game that wasn't a Planet game, but you could use these things for it. I don't know what it would be, but
Well, you could do some
something.
maps. You could definitely do some maps.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're you're stuck in Pentagon land, but.
Or maybe you're making Mars or.
Is this a prime number?
Right. Yeah. Or. Yeah, you could. I mean, if you had magnet strips, you could make.
You could. You could have them make different planets, not just Earth.
Right.
That would be fun.
So did they have to have, like, be warned, you know, children's such and such
Yes.
age, because this could poke somebody in the eye?
Yes.
I always wonder about that. Like, does it say it on here?
It's
like, what's the
supposed
age
to.
Usually, it'll have an 8 plus.
There's like regulations that you're supposed to have it tested for safety.
Right.
And I'm assuming it's Melissa and Doug. I'm sure they did somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's gonna be dangerous for some kids, because you know how they like to crawl and look, and then they
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Swallow
they can do that in
anything.
the corner of your room.
Yes.
You know, if they're like me, I can,
yeah,
I'll find something to run into.
or they're running with it.
Yeah, I just impaled myself.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so I think we're gonna wrap up our little discussion. The last final 10 minutes, get some ideas flowing, say what you liked and didn't like. Let's see here. So I guess let's start with Ginny. And I didn't catch your name. I'm so sorry. What is your name? Michelle. So you all and the gentleman in the back with the black hat. I didn't catch his name either.
Hey, partner.
Hi. Sorry. What is your? I didn't catch your name. What is your name? Weva.
It will be hard to pronounce. You can call me Wei.
Okay. So I thought I'd ask the three of you because I think that you were playing like Suspend. I don't know if you were. I'll just start with this one. So like, what is like something that you liked about the game? Or you know what, we can even skip that because that was just fun, right? Fun and beautiful. What did you learn from that game?
The triangle is very strong.
Yeah.
Triangle's the strongest shape, right? What else might you learn from that?
Well, I think you learn to look, for me, it was about changing my perspective so that I could better see
Yeah.
what it was, so that, don't just stay focused in one way. There's multiple perspectives to approach a problem or something like that. So
That's a good lesson.
I think it's a discussion you could have, with students after playing that game.
Yeah.
Kind of bring out some of that.
Yeah, so not only could you learn like basic engineering principles, but you could also learn like about different perspectives and general. Yeah.
The very first shapeshifter thing.
Yes, exactly. That's an important lesson to learn.
Things when it turns. But also it's a lot about thinking structurally, thinking spatially. If I put this here, what's it connected to? What's that going to make that piece do that's also resting on it? So you had to kind of even see further out into not just the piece I'm putting it on, but what is connected to that piece and what that piece connected to. So it was really systematic in that. So you're really kind of doing systems thinking.
Yeah, awesome. So that was Suspend. And then, let's see, you two played Chemistry Flux. What are some of the things that you learned from that?
They did research on, chemistry.
Did you feel like you learned new things about chemistry personally?
The one thing I liked about it was some of the cards really put good pressure on if you were a student. For example, they had one where with your keepers you had to name an actual chemical compound that was made up, or molecule made up of something in your keepers. And if you could do that, you can draw extra cards. You got a reward for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They had little things like that in there.
Which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah, because if you're going to do it in your classroom, that would be perfect for students. If, I got a keeper, I can name a chemical compound with that. Yay, science.
That's right.
Encouraging further learning, I guess, is the point.
Absolutely. And so you three played Organ Attack. What did you learn? What are some of the concepts that we could use that for?
You would just, especially for our population, just knowing the parts of the body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And since the cards is what they do on there, and even what the diseases do, and what's affected by what, even if for some students it might be a little advanced for them, it makes a great matching game as far as matching the diseases to the organ.
Yes. And like trachea is actually a word that a lot of students don't know, or they don't even know, like they get esophagus confused with trachea, not realizing that food goes down one pipe, air goes down the other. So like vocabulary, I know, right? So vocabulary is huge, and so diseases too. That's great. And then planet, you were exploring planet, right? So what are the things that you thought you might learn from there?
So definitely it gets into biomes, little animal cards. Each animal has a specific set of requirements that you have to satisfy to basically win that animal, whether it's the largest number of habitats that are touching, the largest, for example, rainforest. If you have the largest singular rainforest, all these green that are touching, you may win one animal, but then the next round you may want all your rainforests not touching because you offer several different rainforests on your earth, and that wins you a different type of animal. And then some of them, yours has to have a large rainforest that also touches desert, or a large rainforest that doesn't touch ice. So it really kind of gets into, if you're taking the time to explain to your kids, why might that animal require a desert, but that also touches a forest, or why can't it touch this? Explaining adaptations for animals and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, you could take it like really complex or keep it more simple depending on like your kids. Also, it's really tactile, right? So I love how like it's just fun to touch and the magnets and everything. It's really good for like kinesthetic people. So I'm going to selfishly use it for the last 5 minutes. The biggest thing is topics for free print and play. So like I'm a teacher. I talk to a bunch of teachers and they're all like, please make us a game on this really boring, awful topic. And so I'm just wondering what you think would be useful for like a free print and play that's not one of these things, but like, what topics do you think that need to be made?
So not what printed plays are out there, but what would a topic that needs a game? Is there-
Yes. What needs a game? That what would be helped by a game? Constitution.
Like, as much as I'm a nerd and I like history, I can tell you that the students don't like memorizing amendments and years.
Yes.
So I think something on like the Constitution and the Bill of Rights would be fantastic.
Have you heard, there's a game called Founding Fathers, which I haven't played, but is supposed to be incredible. But I think, don't quote me on this, I think it's that you're at the Constitutional Convention and you're trying to get certain things put into the Constitution. And it's more on the complicated side, but maybe it could be adapted like a simpler version or some, but yeah, I don't know how it goes into like, I don't know, like declaration and all that, but like, yeah, that's a great place to start. It was designed by Jason Matthews, who also made Twilight Struggle. Have you heard of that?
Right.
So it's the Cold War simulation. It's a 2-person game, and it goes through actual events of the Cold War. And you get to manipulate it and like, oh, here's the Marshall Plan. Now this happens. And like, it's like, it was the #1 board game for like decades. And then Twilight Struggle. It's very long, but it's amazing. Are there any other topics that you think are badly needed, or I can suggest games for you? Ooh.
Yeah, I was gonna say civics. I mean, there's just
Yeah, just, it's.
that, you know, what does
There
that mean to be a
needs to
citizen?
be-
I'm a citizen now. What does that mean? Or you know, and that kind
There
of,
does, yeah.
that civics piece is, you know, so many students, kids that just don't even
Know.
what that means.
Like basic
There's so much political.
basic citizenship things. There's fake news games out there that are
Fake
being
news,
made.
yeah. I was gonna say digital literacy is another, like, I think would be interesting to do digital literacy in a board game. I think that would
Yeah,
be interesting.
absolutely.
You know, facts. How do you tell, you know,
What's real and
what's
what's
real
not.
and what's not?
And where to go to find
And where-
accurate information.
Yeah.
What about what you should and shouldn't post on the internet?
That's a great one. I've seen a digital version of that somewhere, but there needs to be a board game too. That'd be fun. I forget. I think it was here last year. There was some digital version of that.
Right. You're like, don't post that. I think you lost
Google has a pretty decent digital citizenship platform.
Maybe that's what I said. Mm-hmm.
Internet, and if it's game based, the kids can go through. They have their little internauts and it goes through different kingdoms, and one's like cyberbullying, one is you know, privacy and password protection, one is what information should be shared and with who. I used it in high elementary through middle.
Oh, great.
Really enjoyed it.
It's free. You just like Google citizenship.
BeInternetAwesome.withgoogle.com.
Okay.
Be internet awesome with.
Be interesting. Well, cool. The very last thing I will tell you is that there's a huge board game company called Asmodee. They own almost everything now because they're kind of a monopoly. But they are launching a research wing. They have one in Europe and they're starting one in the US. And they are looking for teachers and people to actually use games in the classroom, commercial games, and like be part of their humongous, large research study. Because they want to know, are the test scores actually going up? So if you are interested, I'm meeting with them next week at Gen Con, which is like the big US board game convention. But if you're interested, come get my card, give me your card. And also if you want my little list, again, the little handout, this is my information. I'm Catherine at Catlilli.com. That's 2 L's in the middle there. But yeah, any questions, any comments, anything at all, if you want my compiled list of games, if you want to be possibly part of a research network, let me know. So thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for letting us play games.
It's always fun.
Don't start with that.
All right. So do I save this to the computer.
Oh, the
I
slides.
can't remember what they were telling me to do. Something about, maybe I just email them to her later.
Probably. No one's
Okay.
asking that question.
I remember last year she had us like save them. But I don't know.
Let me go and get the fact.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, you have to take it off.
Oh, I don't know why I'm taking everything off.
Just need this.
I don't want to do that. It makes no sense. So,